After the release of the main expansion Gojo and Sukuna for the Japanese version of Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade, a lot of global players are just wanting to save their cubes for them specifically and ignore every other release coming before them, including the hidden inventory trio of Teen Gojo, Geto, and Toji. So, should you just consider skipping all of them? Let's discuss. First things first, we know the hidden inventory units will arrive for global at the end of January. And it also seems like they will be added at some point to the standard banner SSR pool. Now, does that mean they are an easy skip? Absolutely not. Let's also place the units here in the hidden inventory tier, then from SSR Miwa and Saki up until SSR Kaito Yuki, these are all the units in between hidden inventory and first anniversary. Even Kaito Yuki actually is considered pre-first anniversary, but anyway, he's not limited, these are all possible standard banner units. And then we have Yuji, Gojo, Miguel and Sukuna, all of which are limited characters for the first anime. For the timetable of events in Japan, the game came out November 21st, then in exactly 6 months, the half anniversary started with the hidden inventory units, so May 21st, and of course 6 months after that, a complete 1 year after the release, they got the first anime. This is the normal timeline, right? Duh, half anniversary, 6 months after release, first anniversary, 1 year after release. But for global, the timeline will be completely different. The game released 7th of November, and we are getting hidden inventory approximately 2.5 months after release, not even 3 months. And if the pace remains the same, we are going to get the first anniversary units around May. The sad thing is that we can't know that for sure. For example, we had some big releases close to each other with Movie Zero and Hidden Inventory, but now that everyone knows Sukuna is coming and the main expansion Gojo, they might simply save their cubes, because it's not like the company has been very generous with providing cubes for players to keep up with all of the fast releases. That has not happened. Yes, we have seen some gifts here and there, but nowhere even close to the amount that we should have seen. And even with some free 10 pulls we got here and there, they are in completely irrelevant banners with Todo and Maki featured, which is absolutely stupid to not give players a 10 pull for Hollow Purple Gojo or any other actually featured SSR character. In my opinion, doesn't make any sense. The thing is that if the PT hasn't been improved, and if we don't get the Japanese version update for PT as well, you just need to save tons of cubes to be able to guarantee one character. If I'm not mistaken, 75,000. So without PT carrying over, people wanting to skip hidden inventory can be the safest bet if they really want to get the main expansion, Gojo or Sukuna and have them guaranteed. But we also have to consider that first of all, up until we get Sukuna, the Japanese version will have seen more SSR characters, and yeah, they won't get another big anniversary, they might get another half anniversary though, and we might see more characters that now people want to save for. And that is a cycle that will keep happening until we catch up to the Japanese version. I will be completely honest, I doubt we are going to see something more enticing than the main expansion Gojo and Sukuna until we get to that point for the global version, but you just can never be certain. Which brings us back to the question at hand. Should you skip the hidden inventory units? Obviously, there is no possible clear-cut answer for every single player. Everyone's situation is different, and the answer will depend on different variables. For example, how many cubes you have. Another one is, do you have a good collection of units that help you clear majority of content in the game? Do you have multiple SSR DPS characters for different types? Did you get Yuta? That is also an important one. And to get to the hidden inventory characters specifically, Let's talk about Geto first, who in my opinion is by far the most skippable one, especially if you already have Movie Zero Geto, then it shouldn't even be a question. You skip Geto 100% of the time. The thing is, even if you do decide to pull in the hidden inventory banners, you still have to decide on which one. And the decision should not be between Geto and the other characters, in my opinion. It should be between Gojo and Toji. And it is completely unrealistic to think you can get everyone. You need to get extremely lucky to do that. Now, between Gojo and Toji, let's talk about Toji first. A huge question here, in my opinion. I know tons of people are huge fans of Toji and really want this character, even have been waiting for him since the release of the game. But the $1 million question is, do you have Yuta? If you do, I would personally skip Toji. If you don't, you can 100% consider Toji because he's one of the best red DPS characters in the game, and since you cannot essentially get Yuta anymore, getting Toji cannot be a bad decision. Now, if Toji is your favorite character, and I'm always saying this, even if you do have Yuta, you can go for Toji still. It's not the end of the world, it is simply not the most optimal way to maximize your summons. But it's still not the end of the world, they can even work together in mono red DPS teams, but have in mind outside of red weakness having bosses, you might struggle more by having two red DPS characters and lacking with the other color DPS characters. And I also have to mention here, because the main expansion Gojo is also red, he's not exactly a primary DPS character. Even though he can do lots of damage, he is mainly a debuffer and an enabler for your main DPS. So it's not like if you have Yuta or Toji, you shouldn't go for this Gojo. You can still go for this Gojo, because no matter the color of your DPS, he can increase your damage by a lot. And that's where we transition to Teen Gojo, who is one of the best DPS characters in the game, the best yellow DPS. Him and Yuji, I think, are the two best for the yellow color. The thing here is this: if you go for this Gojo, and you also want the main expansion Gojo, you have to keep in mind that you cannot use them together. Is getting both of them or going for both of them a problem because of that? Not necessarily, you just need to make sure that you have other DPS characters to pair up with the best debuffer in the game in Red Gojo other than Teen Gojo. And the same applies for Hollow Purple and the blue version of Gojo, of course. Going back to Teen Gojo, it's not a character I can tell you to easily skip. Let's have Sukuna here to compare as well. Is he better than Sukuna? Overall, probably not. I think Sukuna is the best DPS in the game. They do not have the same typing though. Sukuna is blue, and on top of that, Gojo actually does not have a domain expansion like Sukuna, this one right here, the yellow one, and it is the only Gojo that does not leave the field after a specific amount of turns. Every other Gojo in the game does so. He also does not have immunity for the entirety of the quest. He has for the first 2 turns, then you need to use his skill 2 to regain it for 3 turns, but you also have the ability to get damage boosting from that skill and overall set up properly without having a turn limit to unleash his ultimate. And then you also have his skill 1 that helps you feel the ultimate skill goes faster, which is very nice, and it can also attract attacks to Gojo. I know I have been in a situation in many quests where I just want the enemy to hit Gojo so I don't get damaged, but targets Yaga or another support, and then I lose that support, so I lose a significant amount of damage. With yellow Gojo you can avoid that, which I simply find phenomenal. And in my opinion, this is the best designed Gojo kit in the game out of all of them. That is personal preference, of course, because another player might like the comfort of just permanently having attack immunity, and even with the turn limit, you might prefer using the other Gojo playstyles simply because of the fast pace or the comforts that come to counter the turn limit itself. All in all, is he worth it? He's definitely worth it. The thing is, who do you prefer better? In my opinion, it's not like anyone will tell you this Gojo is bad. He's obviously one of the best units in the entirety of the Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade, right? But if you prefer to just save your cubes for domain expansion Gojo and Sukuna to perhaps have a chance at both of them, even though it is not going to be easy to achieve that, then you can feel free to skip the entirety of hidden inventory. I simply think that skipping Geto and even Toji is much easier than skipping Gojo. But at the end of the day, if he is indeed coming to the standard banner pool, which simply means unlike Yuta, this Gojo will be obtainable in the future even if you miss out on his featured SSR banner, then that definitely might play a big role in your decision because both the domain units of Gojo and Sukuna are limited, and we know that for sure. Which means no standard banner for them, just like Yuta and Movie Zero Geto, and no rerun for them, at least in the near future, because if Yuta hasn't rerun so far in the Japanese version, we don't even have an idea if they will ever do a rerun, so we can't know if Sukuna and Domain Expansion Gojo will rerun in the future. Maybe in the second anniversary or something like that, but definitely not anytime soon. And to be completely honest, if we assumed that two very strong characters in the game are coming out together at the same time with one being limited and one not, I would advise people to go for the limited one since they won't have a chance to get that character again anytime soon or maybe even ever. But that is a big assumption because these characters are not coming out together. So we have to take that into consideration with everything else I have mentioned during the video. That is everything I had to say though. Tell me in the comments down below, what do you think? Are you going to spend cubes for the hidden inventory units, and if yes, which ones? Or you are just skipping everything focusing on Sukuna and Domain Expansion Gojo? Let me know, leave a like for more Phantom Parade content, I would really appreciate it, and as always, thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.